When you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Hello and welcome to Hockey Night in Australia, part of the Hockey Hype Australia podcast network. You can find us on socials at Hockey Hype AUS, our website www.hockeyhypeaustralia.com.au. We are here to cover all the action from week Matt Sundin, week 13 of the AIHL, and there was plenty of action, plenty of talking points. Of course, I'm Gordon Goodenough, joined by Andrew MacDougall and Sean O'Connor. If you would like to leave a comment, of course, you know the drill. Facebook and YouTube, drop us a comment. We're on Instagram Live as well, although comments are a little bit more tricky to engage with through Instagram. But welcome along. How are we doing? First of all, Doogie, how's things?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Another big weekend. Welcome back, GG. I know everyone's missed you hosting this thing, mate, and doing the graphics and the videos. It's full on. So I'm glad to have you back.
Good to have you, Dukes. And Sean O'Connor, how are things, mate? You're sporting the New Jersey Devils. I thought you were a Rangers fan. What's going on here, mate?
I'm a Rangers fan, but there's a story behind this Devils cap. So the very first ever NHL game I went to was a Devils game at the Prudential Center. And the day before I went, I was in Manhattan passing a lid store and saw this in there and went, oh, I got to go buy something for the game. And then my friends absolutely killed me for wearing this hat. That is like, we're Rangers fans. You can't be wearing a Devils merch. And I'm like, I'm going to a Devils game. I'm going to wear it.
Well, Dougie Hamilton from the Devils, or Douglas D. Admin, as he was called on socials, released the New Jersey Devils season schedule today in the most hilarious way possible. If you haven't seen the video, check out the New Jersey Devils socials. So you're wearing the cap because it's the talk of the moment. But we do have some hellos in the chat. Hello, Corey Kutina from Minnesota. Jessica Calder, hi everyone. Happy Hump Day, Phil Taylor. Willie Krause or Krauser, I'm not actually sure the pronunciation of the last name. Absolute legend with his photos. Hi all, happy Hump Day. Andrew John Egan, welcome back, Lazarus. Thank you, Andrew. Chaos reigns indeed, and welcome back, Gigi. Thanks very much, Paul Finesse. So yeah, let's get into the dissection of what went on. Evening, Jacob, as well. Take us through the results, Sean.
All right, so it was another very interesting week in hockey action in the AI. We started things off with a Friday night absolute banger. Like, talk about a magnificent game. 7-3 victory to the Mustangs over the ice in the Melbourne Derby. We had a lot of hype and build up to this, and the game didn't disappoint. Then Saturday, we went into probably a day of some of the largest scores we've had for quite a while. It was a very high-scoring day. You had the Rhinos secure a very nice 6-3 victory at home over the Lightning. The Bears come up in probably the clash of the Titans, 9-6 over the ice. The Ice Dogs securing home win over Adelaide, 3-1, and the Brave in the Battle of No S securing a 7-3 victory. Then on Sunday, we had the Bears complete a perfect weekend with a 3-2 victory over the Mustangs, making the Mustangs split their weekend. You had the North Stars splitting their weekend with a 3-2 win over the Lightning, who were on the road. You then had the Rhinos secure their first back-to-back home victories since like 2005. Some ridiculous 19-year streak. Anyway, they did it 4-2 win over Adelaide, and then the Brave 6-3 victory over the Ice Dogs on the road at Macquarie. So, guys, what game stood out for you? Diggy?
The Friday night derby, if you weren't there, you missed out. It's hard to describe this derby, and I haven't been to a Bears Brave game or something like that yet. But for the games that I've seen live, and the ones that I've travelled to, the derby stands on its own. There was it was a really really packed crowd. It was sold out, but there was just like in the air. You could feel it in the air. There was like an anticipation in the crowd, and I think on the ice it produced that as well. There's a lot of penalties, a lot of back and forth between the players, and I think when it's hot when you see Ty Wishart get involved in a fight. You don't, yeah, you don't see Ty get involved in fights. He's pretty cool, calm, and collected. Ty. So you could see it's non. But outside of that, I think the big one for me was the Rhinos getting back wins across the weekend. That's just massive for their season, and we have spoken about the Rhinos a fair bit. They're building and getting better, but to pick up those back wins and keep their finals hopes well and truly alive is massive.
Yeah, especially considering they're against two of their rivals for that third spot in the conference. So just absolute massive weekend for them. GG, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought the Rhinos getting back-to-back home wins was really cool, and the fans haven't had a ton of wins to cheer for at home. Obviously, as we've just mentioned that streak, so nice to see them get 2 wins in front of the home crowd and reward the fans for their support as well. And it's proof that the Rhinos have improved quite a lot this season, and those 2 wins really put them right back into the playoff race. There are a few points outside that third and final playoff spot, so it's made the month of July a really interesting one for the Rhinos. The Melbourne derby was good, but it kind of descended into a bit of chaos. And a bit of chippiness. And that kind of carried over into the Saturday Sydney Bears Melbourne Ice game, which I was hoping for a better display of hockey, or having the hockey play showcased. But yeah, those I'd go the Rhinos to keep things positive and PG-13.
Well, on the weekend, I was in Sydney and I caught both the Ice Dogs games against Adelaide and Canberra. I thought their victory against Adelaide was phenomenal for them. They were really looking to, they had a big crowd in on Saturday night, and they were looking to raise a lot of money, and they did so, and they had a massive victory. You could just see the place buzzing afterwards. TGI Fridays was going off. It was great. That was their second victory in a row, and they're going for the third against the Brave. And I actually thought they actually outplayed the Brave quite a bit on the Sunday. The Brave, though, were just so clinical, and the Ice Dogs weren't, and that's what ended up costing them in that. But what a weekend for the Brave. Speaking of that, 2 victories. They really needed those back-to-back wins. They haven't had that for a while. So, they're now really pushing for cementing their playoff space.
Yeah, because we talked about that. Like, when was the last time that the North Stars had a chance to sweep the Brave for the first time in a season in the Brave history, and first time since sweeping the Canberra Knights in 2012. So it was a huge moment. North Stars would have loved to get the win, I think, but
even without the win, they still won the series, which is their first series win over the Brave, which is pretty impressive.
I think, and it's probably like Groundhog Day, where we say this every single weekend about the Bears, but gee, they just look strong again. And I've got an article coming out with Carson Miller that'll hopefully around about Friday will drop on our website. But so having someone like Miller just slide into that team that's already deep and already strong,
and he's clicked straight away, Doogie.
Oh, it's crazy! It's crazy, and he's put up 6 points on debut in his opening game, and then grabbed a goal on the Sunday against the Mustangs. We've spoken about it in our Slack group. That Sunday game between the Mustangs and the Bears was just a high quality hockey game. But to have someone like Miller just slide into that Bears team, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's impressive. You know what else was impressive? And you might even have this in your highlights. I don't know what you've got coming up in the highlights, but that Mitch Henning goal against the Ice Dogs on the Sunday, beautiful goal. I absolutely loved it. What a champ.
Yeah, we've got some love in the chats. Miller has got some skills, absolutely. Maisu from Luca Seracini, shots fired, and Andrew John Egan doing the translation. Interesting meaning gong show. Yeah, there was a bit of that. Should we go into the standings?
Yeah, let's go to the standings.
So no, again, this was an interesting point you made, Sean. No movement in the standings, despite some
yeah,
really
I thought with
results.
like a lot of surprising results there would be movements, but it turned out not to be the case. But there are a lot of gaps that closed up this week.
Yes, so the North Stars
were increased.
yes,
depending on which side of the table you're looking at.
So the North Stars are on the top still on 37 points. They have a 9-point buffer over the Brave. Brave are on 28. The Lightning are in third, holding on to that third spot on 20. The Adrenaline with 19 games played on 16, and the Rhinos with 20 games played on 16. And I believe the Adrenaline and Lightning still play each other 4 times this season. So they haven't played each other yet.
Yeah, and the Brave played the Rhinos 3 more times this season. They've only played once, and that was early on. So that's really interesting too. Although the Brave and North Stars have now played each other for all 4 times this season. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see how many Rurik games are still to be played, like inter-Rurik games, and yeah, it should be a fun ride to see who qualifies for the finals.
It just keeps rolling on. So, like, you look at this weekend, Newcastle, they've got to travel to Adelaide, and then you've got the Brave traveling up to Brisbane. It's just so intense. There's no wiggle room. If you want to get into that finals position, you've just got to keep showing up and keep winning.
Yeah, and every game's a 6-point game basically. So it has the potential to massively change how this standings look, but at the moment, for now, after that weekend, it's the same.
So we'll move into the Hellier Conference standings, and the Sydney Bears at the top, 59 points, qualified for finals, first AIHL team to do so. They did so with the win against the Mustangs on Sunday. I did see a few comments that the Bears had already made finals because they had the tiebreaker against the Mustangs, and the maximum points the Mustangs could get was 56. But that wasn't accurate because it didn't take into account the IIHF rules for a 3 or 4 team tie. And the Sydney Bears could have lost out in that scenario. So
our tiebreaker now is so much more confusing than it used to be.
It's hellish. It's hellish when you're trying to dissect IIHF tournaments. It's like, okay, 3 teams could finish on 9 points. This means we need to take their mother's birth year and find out what star sign they are, and find out if Mercury was in retrograde. It's pretty complex. But
and if the pineapples are sweet this season,
the Bears are on top of the 59. They've clinched. The Ice on 53, the Thunder on 38, the Mustangs on 29. 9 points out of third, but they do play the Thunder 3 times, I believe, and the Thunder play the Bears 3 times. So the Thunder have a pretty interesting tough run in at the end of the season, and the Ice Dogs on 19. So the highest the Ice Dogs can finish, they can still qualify for finals. It would take a lot though at the moment.
And that is why we saw Strat Allen dressed on Sunday, was to make sure that he made it in time, just in case they make finals. He would.
How good was it seeing him out there, though? How good! I've been waiting forever this season, and Sean, you were including him every week in the possible milestones,
No.
and then you signaled his debut by taking him off the milestones list, and then he makes his debut. This is on you, buddy.
I know. I was ever the optimist every week. Oh yeah, he's gonna do it. He's gonna come back, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, nah. It's time to take him off, and yeah, just gets on. Talk about a curse. That's quite funny.
And Melissa Lee, just with the comment as well about some love for Strat, making up 150 points as well. Yes, I agree, Phil Taylor. It is all Sean's fault.
Yeah, Jason must have known that I took him off the list and was like, "Screw you, Sean. It's going to happen. He's in."
So yeah, great to see one of the twin towers of power back on the ice for the Ice Dogs. And how good did their black Cure Cancer jerseys look as well?
And they raised
really
so much
sharp
money on the weekend for that as well. Like, it was phenomenally
Yeah.
successful. And Nathan Walker really added a lot to that as well. It was it was great having him.
I'd bid on a jersey, and I was doing commentary when the auction ended. So I checked my email and saw that I'd been outbid, which was great. But yeah, great initiative. And talk us through your Nathan Walker experience, mate. You got a photo with the great man.
Oh yeah, I did. I was actually for one of the periods sitting with Nathan Walker and his uncle. I had a good chat about all things infrastructure and hockey in Australia and NHL and the season that it's just been. So yeah, it was interesting getting to know him a little bit and getting to know his friends and everyone around. But yeah, very easy guy. Loves giving back to the Australian ice hockey community. And yeah, just all his initiatives that he's got going here. He started up his own clothing brand which also raises money for that same cancer initiative that the Ice Dogs were raising money for. And yeah, he's having a good time out here in the off season.
I've seen some photos of Stormy out at Ice HQ. So shout out to Ice HQ and Ross and the team out there. And Stormy looked the smile on his face. So being able to come back and give back to hockey here, you could tell how much it means to him. When you look at those photos, just a massive smile.
Yeah, and like he's doing it also at the Ice House, I believe. He's also got sessions going to happen there as well. And he's obviously in Sydney. He's training with the Ice Dogs at the moment. Basically, the St. Louis basically want him to be on the ice as much as possible in this off season. So the Ice Dogs are providing that to him. And I think I did hear, just between us here on this pod, that he might be mic'd up at some point for one of those awesome Ice Dogs mic'd up experiences, but we'll see if that happens or not.
Well, Sean is now the assistant to the general manager at the St. Louis Blues as well, GG, after sitting down with Walker.
You've got this comment, Lucas Saraceni loves Stormy. Let's go Blues. Yes, absolutely. And really cool to see the AIHL sharing that stuff too about, Nathan Walker being at Ice HQ. They didn't have to do that, but I think it's nice to see different hockey bodies, organizations that aren't necessarily connected or just get behind and support this stuff as well. Just to, if we all succeed, that's good for the game.
Yeah, and I think we're actually seeing some reciprocation now happening as well. So NHL Australia and the NHL have started sharing some things from the Ice Dogs, especially, as well as Walker stuff. So yeah, we're kind of seeing a little bit of exposure happening, which is great. Like, and we've been doing the same. Like we've shared NHL stuff on our socials. The AI shared NHL stuff on theirs this year as well, and vice versa. They've done the same. So it's great.
Yeah, the NHL personally thanked us for sharing their content because we amplified their reach.
Your interviews and stuff you did at that global series has really got them more engaged with us. I'm putting this all down to us, HHA. It's really our initiative going here.
We've got Phil Taylor in the chat. Good share on Timmins today too. Yeah, I thought that was really good too. And Brett Parker mentioning the same thing. NHL posting about Timmins and mentioning the AIHL today. Also, I just wish they would have shown some of Phil Taylor's photos of Scott Timmins wearing a Mustangs jersey. Although I saw the AIHL in the comments putting a picture of Timmins hoisting the Good Old Cup, which was cool.
I then put our scoring chart graphic on there too, just to show just how good a scorer he is in our league.
Yeah.
So Doogie, you're now on the NHL socials.
Awesome, mate. That's probably a good segue, isn't it, into the points leaders after week 13, and it's the same crop of top 6 that we have from week 12. The only difference is Scott Timmins has gone up into 4th position and Francis Drolet in 5th. So Adam Kadlick still at number 1 on 64. Austin Albrecht 2nd on 50. Lucas Herman 3rd on 48. Timmins 4th, 47. Drolet 5th on 46. And Mackenzie Caruana 6th on 45 points. So it's the same suspects once again.
But Timmins plays and all of a sudden he rises in the rankings again, right? Like he's only 3 now off 2nd again.
Yeah, well, I think he had a 5-point derby game, I think, off the top of my head. So returned in a big way. Yeah. So
but everyone here is scoring points every week. They're doing phenomenal. And yeah, Kadlec, he's maintaining this lead though. Like I know that Albrecht has climbed. Now it's a 14-point, but it's still pretty big gap.
Yeah. Well, he put up 7 points across the weekend, Kadlec. So it's going to take a bit to catch him.
Yeah, he broke the Sydney Bears single season goal scoring record on Saturday with 30. The record was he was tied with tied top with 27. And then he broke the single season points record on Sunday. He was tied on 63, and then got an assist to break the record with 64. He was a shot machine in that across the weekend. We do have some comments in the chat. I'll just catch up on Liam Kelson advising us, of course, with the Ice Dogs, does some fantastic work there, that there are some amazing photos to come from his appearance on the weekend, so looking forward to them. Corey Katina, Caruana, another massive weekend. Yeah, 4 goals on the Saturday?
I wish all these players would stop having good weekends, because it makes picking team of the week exceedingly hard.
Mac has been terrific.
Yeah, it was 4 GG, but I think they reevaluated from the weekend's games when I checked it back up again. Yeah.
And Jessica Calder agreed he was fantastic, either in connection to Caruana or Kadlec. And Corey Katina, confirming that's 3. And yes, Luca Saraceni replying to Liam. Yes,
I did speak to Mackenzie Caruana after the derby with my derby pieces, and I'm doing the part 1, part 2, part 3. I spoke to the 2 captains, and just a little tidbit, I suppose, is they were very appreciative of Hockey Hype Australia and thanked us for all the work that we're doing. So that's pretty cool that they're enjoying our content, the players as well. So terrific fella though, Mackenzie Caruana.
Yeah, he is. I remember in Canberra when the Ice were here for their weekend, after the game, he was signing broken sticks and various other things for kids and giving them to the kids. And Kerry was telling him, Ice player, you got to support the Melbourne Ice, which made me laugh. But yeah, he gives a lot of time. And I must admit, I also talked to Grant Toolman and Mike Dalhousen and Bray Crowder on the weekend as well, and yeah, they're all loving our content as well. They're all listening to the podcasts and having they're enjoying the coverage, which is good. Good to hear.
And just
Yeah.
before we move on, GG, from if we've got comments or whatever, just on those points leaders, just when you're talking about Tim and Sean, how he's moving up, comes back and just moves up the points table. If they've finally found a settled line too with Hayden Dawes and Freed with Timmins, he might rack up the points fairly heavily in the back end of the season.
Yeah, and how good was Hayden Dawes' home debut for the Mustangs? You couldn't ask for a better home debut than that. And yeah, I think that line is very dangerous.
Where do you put Raczynski and Klomp when they come back and are available?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it, GG? I'm glad I'm not making the decisions because someone like Klomp especially it's almost a walk into the team if he's fit. Just a high quality player.
Yeah.
And Raczynski, we've spoken about him and the season that he's having every time he's out on the ice. He's either scoring or putting up points. I don't know what you do, GG. It's one of those calls. If you hate to be a coach, don't you? When you got to make those calls. The one thing I suppose is Scott Timmins is the coach. He's not going to take himself out. I wouldn't think out of the lineup.
Scott Timmins is like, I'm to the fourth line, guys.
No, it's a good problem to have, right? For the Mustangs, but I tell you what, I did.
We were worried early in the season about their depth, and they're proving that they've got more depth now than they had earlier on, and it's probably showing in some of their results.
And
yeah,
we did. Oh no, sorry.
Yeah, go GG. Sorry, no, go mate.
No, I was just going to say it was just nice to see after reading your article, Sean, where Hayden Dawes had said, he was the opportunity at the Mustangs, part of the reason that he chose it was, to be able to play with players like Timmins and Wishart, and then to see him on the power play with, Timmins, Wishart, playing on a line with Timmins. That was really cool as well. And he was so good in across the weekend, Hayden Dawes.
Yeah, he's got bags of talent.
Just talking about the depth of the Mustangs, it's been noticeable with me, Sean, over the last few weeks that they've seemed to settled and found some pairings in some lines. But on Friday night in the derby, 18-year-old Adam Harper was paired up with Ty Wishart, and it's something I hadn't seen a lot this season or at all. And I thought Adam Harper was absolutely outstanding alongside Ty Wishart on Friday night. And when you talk about the depth, young players like that at 18 years of age, being able to step in alongside someone like Wishart and perform in a big derby game and perform really well, it probably highlights the depth that the Mustangs are starting to build. Yeah,
I love it when youngsters are paired with a high-quality, experienced hand with them. Like you can see how much that improves their game.
Well, we'll go into the comments, and there is a lot of love for Doogie's Derby pieces. Well done on those Derby pieces, mate, from Andrew John Egan. Part 1 deserves a Pulitzer. It was a very good article, and Part 2 is like a shining light from Brett Parker. I wonder why they're so invested in the articles. And Paul Finesse dolls, Timmins and Ty like the ceiling lights at O'Brien. The triple threat. Yeah.
Although, have you guys seen how tall the Ice Dogs team is? Like, the Ice Dogs team is tall.
Yeah, they're pretty tall.
I don't know what's going in the water over there, but anyway.
Jacob Hock, Toby Gilchrist having a good weekend as a young defenseman for the Ice as well. There are a few first-time goal scorers
too, didn't he? Yeah, he got on the
score sheet. He did.
Yeah.
He got a goal, and there was Lake. What's his name? Not Side. Jed Lake. Jed Lake.
Yes.
A goal in each game, didn't he? So a couple of guys picking up their first AIHL goals. And some love from Jessica Calder for Toby Gilchrist as well, saying he was great. So good pickup. Thank you.
And I know he got a bit of flack on the weekend too, but it was nice seeing Forrest in goals for Melbourne, but between the pipes. So
I think with Forrest, if you look at the game in segments, so for 40 minutes of that game, Tom Forrest gave up 1 goal.
Yeah.
It was only that second period where there was power play goals, there was a short-handed goal. So it's one of those things where if the ice is staying out of the penalty box, it's obviously going to do a lot for Tommy Forrest in net. There's only so much, I suppose, you can take in net as a goaltender if you're constantly on the penalty kill, and you got pucks flying at you. So for 40 minutes of the game, he only let in 1 goal.
Yeah, and it was similar with the Ice Dogs on the Sunday against the Brave. I actually thought Jake Dornbos was phenomenal in goals for them. He kept out a lot of things, kept them in the game, and it wasn't until quite late on that really Canberra kind of took their chances and broke away a bit. But yeah, I was very impressed by Dornbos.
I think Lung started against the Brave. Yeah.
I can't remember, to be fair. I just remember Dornbos on the ice.
I think Dornbos got the start against Adelaide because I was commentating poorly the other game, and I think it was Arvid Lung in goal for the Ice Dogs.
Yeah, they both did play on the weekend, but yeah.
Yeah, and this is a really good point. I wanted to mention this as well. Forrest was stiff to have disruption, the D pairings in front of him on what was always a tough weekend too. Like you think that game against the Bears, Johnny Aonzo gets called for spearing, and so he's off. So there's one of your big puck moving defensemen who's gone from the game. You've got to put the pairings in a blender. I think that's a really good point.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Spot on.
Mate, and I'm going to frame this comment. Doesn't happen often. Liam Kelson, just the confirmation. Thank you, Liam. But yeah, it was. I thought Dornbos was really good on Saturday as well, and he's been good all season when he's been put into games as well.
Yeah, so. And it's really encouraging to see. So I know he's been taking a lot of advice from actually Mike Dalhousen, which has been great. It's really good to see that leadership from your input D-man, even for the goaltenders. So yeah, loved it.
Yep. Shall we go to what's next on the run sheet, mate?
We can we can get into the highlights before we do our game of the week. So we've got game of the week, team of the week, 3 stars in the preview, obviously, to go, but we can chuck up some highlights
let's do
on the
highlights.
weekend. All right, so the first one we'll roll with is probably a contender for goal of the season, I'd say.
Half to play in the third. Here's Heading, gains zone, tries to step around one and scores! What a wonderful move! And the 2-goal lead restored. That's ridiculous from Mitch Henning, who gained the zone, had a couple of dogs for company, drifted by them as if they weren't there.
Yeah, it was so good to see actually live. It was one of those things where I was there and I was watching it. It was almost like done in slow motion, like the entire play. And he's just there moving between all the Dogs players and then produces a good shot, scores. And you're like, what the hell?
So my I was doing the color and my mic was muted and I was talking. So I'm like saying all this stuff. And then I fucking then I realized that my mic is on mute because I hear Ollie coming in. I'm like, what are you doing, Ollie? Like coming in over the top and talking over me. But I've been like having a bit of a coughing fit before, so I muted my mic. And then I had to it was pretty bad. That's quality with a capital K from me there. But it was such a good goal. It was and I'm really happy for Henning. Like he scored an absolute rocket earlier this season as well. It was just his second goal of the season, but it was beautiful to watch.
Just being able to deke your way through, but to have when you watch it, there's not much room. But the fact that he got enough power on it to rifle that into the top shelf is ridiculous.
Yeah, because he didn't have like a massive swing at it or anything. It was kind of, yeah. It was great.
Just crazy. The next one we got, he's one of my favourite players in this competition.
But Aziz Bazzi was all over it and smothered out that opportunity for Brisbane. Oh, and a quick change. Bazzi's into the zone. He's got some space. A centering pass. It's in! Pinballing in off the defence. Aziz Bazzi reclaims the lead with 5 seconds remaining on the power play. Unfortunate for the Brisbane defence there. They were back. They were in position, but the puck just took a weird hop off of, I think that's Mitch Dick. Number 6 for the Brisbane. No, that's number 5. That's Miko Rippon.
That is filthy.
Yeah.
He had a birthday soon. But so shout out for the birthday. But I love his goals because it always seems like and obviously he's a defender, but he's taking the zone with speed. And then he's just either taking him on and deking around and getting to the net, or he's just absolutely ripping them off the bar and in from the slot or something. It's just every time he scores, it seems to be these highlight reel goals.
Yeah, he's having a real good season for the Rhinos, and I think he's been one of the most impressive imports to arrive in Australia this year. Like, I remember seeing his EP before the season, him and Bouchard, and I was like, these guys look like they will be ridiculous for our league. And yeah, Barcy's been ripping it up.
Yeah, he's been good. That was a really good goal to watch. And he's made a few of the highlight reel goals, hasn't he, Doogie?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all season long. Just great to watch. The next goal that we got is from the same game.
Great passing play there, cut off by Saxon Air. Over to the far side, over and bar down. Chance Adrian, the beneficiary of a lovely passing play from the Brisbane power play. Chance Adrian goes bar down to close the gap.
You could sense something was coming.
Oh, it was building and building and building.
A minute 40 in the zone, and
great little stick check there from Saxon Air, but unable to get back into the lane that he just blocked. We see Saxon Air makes a great stick play there, but then
he's really come along, Chance Adrian, like after making his debut. It's taken him a bit of time to sort of gel into the team, but he's popping up with quite a few goals now, and important timing for the Lightning.
Yeah, he's been really good. He's been really good for the Lightning, and another guy. I know we don't have his goals on the highlights. Batu Gendanov has been super impressive, and yeah, really impacting games for the Brisbane Lightning too. I think he's a real fun player to watch for the Lightning. If you haven't seen Gendanov yet this season, get on that. The Lightning play 2 games across this weekend against the Brave. Yeah, so there'll be good games.
Yeah, first Mongolian player in the league.
We've got just validation as well from Julie Sugden. Batu was amazing. Yeah, absolutely. So look forward to seeing him. Tory Diver getting in. Hi kids, I'm driving so can't type, but I'm here ready for the 3 stars.
They're coming.
I bet you're ready for the 3 stars. Newcastle fans are ferocious in the voting. Phil Taylor, not the first time the mic should have been muted, and my internet also dropped out at another point in that game. So
oh really?
Yeah, Gigi's internet decided didn't want to keep commentating on Sunday night. He's getting censored by his own devices. So I dropped out when the score was 0-0, and I reconnected like 3 minutes later, and it was 2-0 for the Brave.
Yeah, so they scored so quickly, and they were both lightning quick. And then the Ice Dogs basically shut them out for the rest of the period and dominated.
Yeah.
I know how that feels, GG, with the Cyclones and GG dropping out mid-game and having to commentate on the fly.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, Doogie, is that you don't want to end up commentating with GG. if he's at home.
GG's a quality commentator. He just got to update the internet, I think. Or don't commentate from cyclone areas. Maybe the key.
That was an experience, mate. That was an experience. But yeah, let's move on quickly. Let's move on.
Yeah, the next goal we've got. This guy's got some of, if not the best hands in the competition.
Throws it across, and here's a chance now here for the Mustangs. 2-on-1, short-handed, freed, and Vyasov. Vyasov in alone now on Downey. Vyasov moves, he shoots and scores! What a goal from Vadim Vyasov! Short-handed, and he cuts the deficit to 2. It's 3-1.
Well, that was great play, and it was also a great play by Ryan Freed to set Vadim up on that. So if you watch the replay, it was a great feed back to Vadim to give him time and space to get in on Downey. And the last guy you want to give the puck to on a breakaway is Vadim, because he'll take you left to right and take.
He's so good. I remember him in the finals last season. He was just phenomenal. Like, he's just big time player, scoring big time goals. And look at that. That was brilliant. And by the way, big shout out to Freed, who's playing amazingly in this team now. I every week I'm very impressed.
You know, when I see someone like Vadim, having watched Vadim for so long, and I think Vadim goes way back to the Canberra Knights, the top of my head. That is like a real success story, I think, Vadim, for hockey here. Coming over to this country to play hockey and then never leaving the country and representing Australia, and just a really good person. But when you watch him play, some of the best hands in his skill and his edge work, it's just been a real success story, I think, for the hockey community here.
100% agree, Doogie.
We've got some love in the chat as well. Andrew John Egan, just another in a swag of beauties. He scored in the league. Yes. Brett Parker, some great net shots at the goal. Phil Taylor, yes, we used one of his net shots for the 3 stars graphic as well. And Phil Taylor, if you go to his Phil Taylor photographic on Facebook, he's done a video of the sequencing that he's taken from the side of the goal, which is
nice.
Super cool. So make sure you check that out as well. So yes.
Yeah, you got to watch out for Phil. Even when you're in the line to get a drink or something to eat, he's snapping pictures. The last one we got is it's a nice goal, but GG, you were quick to get this one into our highlights, just because of the setup. It was a little bit different, but it was pretty cool.
Drops off to the high slot, shot just wide from Cale Costa. Just above the goal line, Grant Sormin skates a stick, playing across. Costa shoots, scores! Dogs at back level, and how good was that?
Well, Grant Sorman was showing off the footwork. It wouldn't look out of place at the Euro 2024 Championships as he collects the loose puck in his skates, kicks it back up with his skate and passes across to Costa. And suddenly we've got a tied game here, Oliver.
I know that he's Canadian and they're doing well.
It's got to be one of the most unique goals this season, right?
That's so good. I love. It was a good call, GG, but I love your laugh, your giggle. It just makes it even better.
It's just you see it, and you're like, that is just ridiculous. And it's one of those ones where you could see it happening, and you're just going, oh geez, I hope this is a goal. Like, I hope this is a goal because that would be cool. And it doesn't matter what team is doing that. You hope that sort of play and creativity and skill is rewarded.
And did you guys catch who scored that goal?
Cale Costa. Cale Costa. Oh yeah, we did. Ewell's goal, which we do have a reel on our socials. Ewell's goal should have made it. His was a really good goal too. Yeah, good shout. Says we're sure.
We check out our socials, everyone, so they can see it.
And Michael Smith, hats off to Phil, leading the way with photography this season for sure. Top 3 all-time AIHL photographers for
Yeah, I
me.
used one of
Yes.
his in-goal shots as well for the promo for the derby this week as well. So good.
Oh, what's this one? The meme made is hilarious about his goal. Is that the Yules? I have to have a look at for this meme. I have to have a look for this meme. And we've got Anthony Russell in the chat. Sorry, I'm late. AIHL discipline banned me for 45 minutes for breathing at them.
Hey, they've been making waves this week.
Bringing the ban
Everyone's
hammer.
getting banned. Yep.
Some news. There is still some other stuff that will be to come from the Melbourne Ice and Sydney Bears game, I believe. So don't get too upset that and think it's all done and dusted. But I know Joachim Erdogan got suspended for the season, including finals, which is huge.
It was like, was it 8 games
Friday?
or the entire season, whatever is latest?
Yeah,
the way they worded it was quite funny.
Yeah, it was like after August 11 or the end of finals, which it's going to be the end of finals because the Melbourne Ice should qualify for finals. But yeah, Erdogan done for the season. The other news, what other suspensions that
Mike Dalhousen just got suspended.
Dalhousen got two games.
Yeah, 2 games, and then both Matt Harvey and Powell got 1 game each for their fight in Canberra.
Yeah, and Aonzo gone for 2 games as well. So yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, they start to make real differences. Like the Ice Dogs losing Dalhousen is a massive loss for them because he does so much for that team. So yeah.
Yeah. We've got a comment here from Anthony Russell. It is, however, nice to see that the bans in Oz are as nonsensical at times as they are here. Also, AIHL put the player names on the bans. We don't sit with elite prospects open. I actually respect the fact that the AIHL don't put the names on there because
you don't want
these players aren't paid. So if they're employed and their employer does like a name search on them and finds that they've been banned for this thing, that can get messy. So I actually don't mind it's
easy enough just to open up at the AHL website and look at the team sheets and see whose number it is if you don't know it just by looking at it. I agree. I don't think they should put the names on the ban page.
And yeah, nothing announced, Corey, as well from the bench fracas in Melbourne as well. What's next, peeps? Game of the week. We're doing game of the week.
Let's do game of the week, eh?
We're doing
whatever Doogie's got up next, we'll do it.
You're muted, mate. You've done a GG. You've done a GG.
Yeah, sorry. We do have game of the week, but we can chuck this up if this is the one that they're talking about.
Put it up. Got nobody in support. Here we come now. Standing in on net. That one's a great goal by Yule. Alexi Toivonen just overcommitted on the save. He waited. Great patience there from Yule.
The AHL website and look at the team.
Great pass there as we have a look. Toivonen, desperation there.
So we had an overlay of you two talking, but that's the goal.
Yeah. There you go.
Really good goal.
That was for you, Saz. That was for you.
On the fly. Look, we respond to all comments.
Look, we are for the fans. We are for the fans.
Yeah, exactly. But game of the week.
Right. Game of the week. Let's hit it. This was a tough one, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, we had quite a bit of discussion within our group chat about what should be game of the week this week. A few different suggestions being put forward. But in the end, Bears versus Mustangs, 3-2, close game. Big win for the Bears. Doogie, you want to talk first to this one?
It was, I did say it in our Slack, it was one of the best quality games I think I've seen this season. just end-to-end hockey, plenty of chances. The Bears were on top in the second period, but the Mustangs they just hung tough and stayed in the contest. And the two goaltenders, Flodell and Downey, I tell you what, Downey has been absolutely elite this season for the Sydney Bears. And in my mind,
he's
I
like
think
an import goalie. It's the same.
Yeah. And if you want to talk about like number one goalies and things like that, in my mind, I think Downey's the number one goalie at the Bears, just on form in this season. He was absolutely lights out in this game, and really sort of just stifled the Mustangs, because the Mustangs, they were coming hard at the end to catch the Bears, and Downey was up to the task. The Mustangs had some really high quality and high danger chances in the third period to try and level it up at 3-3. Downey just shut the door. So just a really good hockey game, end to end. Big crowd there as well for a 2 p.m. puck drop on a Sunday. I think the 2 p.m. is a good time down at Docklands, because it was a really, really big crowd. I walked in there right on 2 o'clock, and when I walked in, there was sort of 2 or 3 back from the glass type of thing. So it was a pretty big crowd for this game, and it lived up to it.
Yeah,
awesome.
it was high quality back and forth, and I think both teams. I had a chat with head coach Tyler Huberty after the game, and he was or early this week, and he was really impressed with the defensive core. He said that was the best we played as an entire defensive group this season, and the little plays with Kushneriuk or Matsukane or Annesley, Claire, like whoever it was, they were doing great work, like stick work, breaking up 2-on-1s, just really smart, unpanicked hockey. It was good. It was good quality.
Yeah, I know I mentioned to you in our Slack group, GG, just the Matsukane and Kushneriuk pairing. It looks really good. It looks like they sort of complement each other well, I think. It seems like, to me, Kush is a bit of a stay-at-home sort of defenseman, and Matsukane likes to get up and can produce some offense. So I think that it's a really good pairing, those two.
Who's Annesley paired with?
Upton Tyrell Clare.
Yeah, okay.
Which I think is a good dynamic for them as well. I did laugh because Matsukane, he in the game against the Melbourne Ice on Saturday, he gave up the puck in the offensive zone to Albrecht, and I've never seen Matsukane skate so fast in my life, like to try to fix up his mistake. I'm like, buddy, I've misjudged your speed, but he did well in recovering. But yeah, it was that Mustangs game. They were so close, and if you're a Mustangs fan, I have to address a couple of things. Whistlegate, yes, Andrew John Egan. Julie Sugden mentioning that they had issues with whistles in Brisbane earlier in the season. So the first goal, which was a lovely tip by Carson Miller, about 5 seconds earlier, someone blew a whistle in the crowd.
Oh.
2 of the Mustangs players kind of stopped skating. The in-arena music started, and then the Bears scored. So if you're a Mustangs fan, you might be upset about that. And the third,
just a little
as goal. Phil Taylor has some beautiful shots of it. Christopher Eden appeared to kick it in with his skate. And the rule is no longer, you don't need to have a deliberate kicking motion, but just changing the angle of your skate. Well, you kind of had both. If you're
he thought he was playing in the Euros, right? Like all Copa America. He was there.
Yeah.
Messi, step aside.
We do have Anthony Russell saying Bears vs. Stangs was a great advert for the league. It was just a good hockey game. Andrew John Egan can see the steam still coming out of Doogie's ears. Fair enough, too. Michael Smith, the free Tyrell chant is one of my favorite things in the AIHL. I think the Bears did a T-shirt of free Tyrell that you could access if you were supported one of the charities. Tory Diver agreeing with you, Doogie. Downey is number one. Downey, Michael Smith, Downey is living up to his Brookenism this season. Upside Downey because he's always standing on his head. Very good. And Willie Krause, Bears Mustangs could have gone either way. Downey, good as always.
And before we move on, that game against the Mustangs, was that Schlamp's 300?
Yes. Yeah. And
what an achievement.
Yeah, amazing. Really good player for the Bears. And I think that was his best game of the season. Talking to head coach Tyler Huberty as well, he agreed. He thought Schlamp was really engaged in that game. He's now, I think he's 2 points shy of 350 career AIHL points as well.
So he's got another big milestone just on the horizon.
He did get an assist on Saturday, but they took it away from him. So Anthony Russell just saying on Downey, I think my seeing him here has tempered my view on him. I think I still pick Kimlin at the crunch.
I've never seen how he was over in the UK.
And Michael Smith, the Tyrell Claire chant. I always try and bump up the ambient audio when that chant breaks out. I think Downey has been the most consistent I've seen him this season. He's played 11 games.
He had a really good season in 2022, I think it was. I think it was for the North Stars. I can't quite remember now. But then he kind of fell out of favor and was kind of down last season. And now, back this season and really taking that spot while Kimlin was injured. It was kind of him and Brum kind of depending on how many other imports they had at the time. And he just really took it for himself and has made himself number one.
Yeah, so 10 consecutive wins. 10 consecutive wins for Downey. So he's only lost the one game, which was in Melbourne against the Melbourne Ice, 4-2 earlier this season. So he's been good. And it's funny though saying, and I said this in the chat, it's funny we're talking about Downey as being the number one when Kimlin is 6-0. Like he hasn't lost a game this season. It's just ridiculous. So,
but I mean, you could probably say that for most of the Bears games. I'm sure Brum also has a pretty good record this season as well for the Bears.
And it's funny it is funny saying it because the history of Kimlin and when you watch Kimlin over the history, it's just rock solid. But when I watch the Bears this season and I see Downey, I almost feel more confident for the Bears this season with Downey in between the pipes than Kimlin. But, we know how good Kimlin is. And as you said, GG, 6-0.
Yeah.
Although you got to say, they didn't win the grand final last year with Kimlin in goal. So perhaps they need that this year to get that one extra victory,
They got Liam Hughes, mate. They got Liam Hughes. That's what happened. And Tory Diver just saying correct about James Downey being in Newcastle in 2022 as well. All right, are we ready for 3 stars? Are we doing 3 stars first?
We can leave that to the end because that creates all the controversy. That 3 stars. So we'll go with team of the week.
Team of the week. This is going to make people even happier. We've got Mackenzie Bolger, who had a fantastic weekend for the Rhinos. Tyler Kubara, Batu Gendanov, Bailey Kubara, Ryan Annesley, and Logan Flodell. Thanks for doing up the graphic, Sean.
Man, all these players had phenomenal weekends. Like that was so good. It was actually really hard this week for us to actually pick all the players. Like we had so many ties in our things that we had to go to essentially tiebreakers to be able to break some of these. But I mean the Kabara boys, they were absolutely phenomenal on that Saturday in that Battle of Nowhere against Newcastle. Hey, you have a look at the scorecard, and it's just Kabara everything. And Bolger was phenomenal in the 2 wins. He's just had a brilliant season. like him and Lindell, like, whoa, talk about breakout seasons for both of them, really. And yeah, you already spoke about Gundanov. And yeah, Fledell in that derby, and yeah, honestly, again with a very strong Bears team.
Yeah,
Like he got a heap of assists as well this weekend.
Like I usually wouldn't vote for a goalie if they split a weekend. Like if a goalie
it makes
has
it really
one
hard to vote for them, right? Because you're like, well, you've got a loss this weekend.
Yeah, but I couldn't go past Flodell's performance both in the derby and against the Bears. If he's not in goal against the Bears, that's a 7-2 game. Like he was unreal. Yeah. So I think we did great with our choices.
I did too. Like, and just for everyone listening, and you know, we had players like Barzy, Hawes, Dawes, Bouchard, Taylor, Miller, all very close to getting in.
Yeah.
When I look at that team, because I was just really impressed. The only player that I would have loved to have seen slide in there was Miller. I just thought it was just an unbelievable debut weekend. To put up 7 points on your debut was unreal.
Yeah, like I didn't vote for Miller purely because I thought he did dominate that first game. He was all over. But I was looking at forwards who were kind of dominant across 2 games. Which,
if they were playing 2 games.
Yeah, if they were playing 2 games, or so that's the only reason I didn't vote for Miller, and also because I'm like, I don't want to be the guy that votes all Bears players every week. So,
the whole team's Bears. What are you doing, Gigi?
If you're a Bears player, you've got to have a pretty spectacular week to make my team. Just because I'm aware
the bar is so high.
I'm biased. I'm biased and probably biased. Aeon's so sick. I was thinking, Andrew, I was thinking of making my team of the week just all players that didn't actually play this weekend to see if anyone noticed. So I'd have Tommy Lander up and forward. He'd make it for the Bears. I'd have Leo Bertien from Perth, because why not? But yeah,
Addison.
Yeah. And Willie Krauser, Miller next week. Then they play the Rhinos. Those games between the Bears and Rhinos, we'll get into that, but they've been pretty competitive games. The team spearhead, yes, from Phil Taylor. So, any final thoughts?
Maybe another segment we could have is team PIM team of the week. Could be a funny one.
Oh god!
Yeah, there were quite a few incidents this week. Quite a few. So I think the last 2 weeks, really, it's kind of got very spicy around the league.
I can agree with this one, Paul Finesse. Lander should be there every week. He's
just
unreal
on the side.
Yeah, he's unreal.
The next one, GG, is the 3 stars. And I'm a bit scared to put this up because it's just going to burn the house down when we put this up again. But this is week 13. Fan voted 3 stars.
Fan voted, everyone. You're the ones that have done this.
The fans have the control over this.
This is on you.
Here are the 3 stars this week.
Oh my god. All right, so first star, everyone. Mitsusuki Inoue. I hope I said that right. I probably butchered that.
Oh, Mitsuaki. Yeah,
Mitsuaki. Sorry.
Yeah.
Alexander Yuli. And then Ethan Hawes. Yep. Both. I mean, they all had good weekends, but they did split their weekend. Including a fairly heavy loss against Canberra. But yeah. Let's just say the North Stars fans love their North Stars players, as they should. But
Let me just say, I got a vote for when the North Stars lost to the Bears 9-2, and Charlie Smart gave up 6 goals in the first period. I had someone vote for Charlie Smart in the 3 stars. So I'm like, you have to respect the love that they have for the team. Genuinely,
Yeah.
I'm not. And you have to respect how friggin' organized they are. Like
They're
they
very
are-
organized fan group.
They are organized.
Yeah.
We've got some observations in the chat. Phil Taylor, me looking at the 3 stars announcement, peaking base. Tory Diver, loving the work there. North Stars, yes. Tory Diver, North Stars colours. Andrew John Egan has lost his mind. Michael Smith has lost his mind. Brett Parker has lost his mind. Jordan Bischoff, 2nd week in a row. Yes, it is. Ewell, yes. Tory Diver, excited about him. Jordan Bischoff losing his mind. Says G, 2 weeks in a row. Clean sweep. Andrew John Egan making a mockery of this very consequential segment. Well, get your act together, Andrew John Egan. If you want to change this, you organise your Melbourne Ice fans to vote. I will not have
Like Captain Planet, you
any
have the
anger
power.
directed at. Yeah. This is North Stars fans. It is their right to do this. So Jordan Bischoff again, Ewell getting through this. Jess Fuller, North Stars fans are strong once again. That's what we do from Says G, who came fourth.
I can tell you this. I've actually got it.
Paddy Ward. Paddy Ward
I
came
think
fourth, Tory.
It was Francis Drolet or someone like that, probably.
No. Drolet came 5th. 4th was Casey Kabara.
All right. Wow.
And then, 6th was Bailey Kabara. 7th was Tyler Kabara. 8th was Cadillac. 9th was Bo Taylor. And then there was a whole bunch tied for 10th.
Anthony Russell, accept my 3 stars vote for Brian McKenzie now, fellas. He does great commentary. I have to say, I love Brian McKenzie's color. We only posted it once this week. You know, good work, Tory. They're not winning on the ice; they're winning in the 3 stars. That's Michael. You gotta vote, Egan. Yes, exactly. Phil Taylor introduced Eurovision style voting. You were talking about this.
Yeah. Phil's been on this campaign all week now. Well, since the weekend. No voting for your own players.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, I just don't. Not everyone's going to see all the games to be able to vote for opposition players. I just don't see it happening. As much as I think that would be a fairer system.
Yeah. You've got Andrew John Egan. I voted for Inouye. Yeah, well, you're part of the problem there, mate. You're part of the problem. Michael Smith, I just want all the teams to have fun. Oh, it's very sweet.
I will say this. We did in total have 29 different players voted for this week, which is down on last week, but still quite high.
Yeah, I think the most we've had is, 38?
Yeah, last week we had 38. So, we had everyone from, Powell, Lake, Gilchrist, Matthews, Lindell, Dawes, Crowder, Dornbos. Lots of votes for lots of different people.
Tory Diver saying we'll try to vote for a different team next week. Do just former Gold Coast Blue Tongues. We should just set a challenge each week, like one of those
former Knights players. Let's do it.
Yeah, like those puck dokus that they had, and not likely says G. Yes. So anyway, it's all good fun, and it is fan voted. So own your hockey bias.
Yeah, it is literally the most important vote every week, guys. So make sure it counts.
So what do we got? We've got preview. What's coming up this weekend? Do you want to take us through that, Doogie?
All right. So on Saturday, week 14, round 14, Saturday, Newcastle will play the Adelaide Adrenaline at 4:30 p.m. in Adelaide. So they've got a back-to-back Saturday, Sunday. The Ice Dogs will travel to Perth and play the Thunder. The Brave will travel north and play the Lightning. The Rhinos will go to Sydney and face the Bears for their only game across the weekend, and the Bears as well. And the Sunday is just a matchup of the other 3 games from the Saturday: the Brave and the Lightning, North Stars, Adelaide, Ice Dogs, Thunder.
Is this the first time this season that there are no Melbourne teams playing? I have a feeling it might be. I can't recall a time where there's just been like neither the Ice or Mustangs playing at all.
Yeah, I can't recall either, mate.
Anyway, they both get buys.
Yeah.
So what do we like from this weekend, GG?
Me, I like Bears Rhinos. I did have a talking to Huberty the other day. He said, we looking at the schedule that the Bears have, they're playing a lot of bubble teams, and then right at the end they play a lot of playoff teams. So he's like, we know that we are going to have a target on our back, and teams are going to be bringing their best game against us. Like they'll be up for the challenge. So the challenge is to match the intensity of other teams. And the Rhinos Bears game this season, they've played 2 games at Arena, and in both games the Rhinos have had leads in those games that made it really tough for the Bears. So I'm looking forward to that one. And then the other one that I'm looking forward to is Brave Lightning, but I'll get you to speak on that one a little bit, Tiggy.
Yeah, the Brave and the Lightning, I'll be up in Brisbane for both of these games. So people might have seen across the socials that the Brisbane Lightning have their very first specialty jersey that they'll be wearing this week, that they'll be releasing. It's a Aboriginal artwork, Indigenous artwork. So they put some things out on their socials of what it means and the design, etc. So I've got an article. I sat down with Julie Sugden, the owner of the Lightning, and also sat down with Auntie Sandy, who designed the artwork when I was in Sydney a couple of weeks ago. And we'll be releasing an article tomorrow with those two regarding the artwork, what it means to the Lightning, what it means to Auntie Sandy as well, etc. And from that, Julie actually invited me up as a special guest for the Lightning to enjoy the weekend and be part of the game and everything they've got going on there. So they've got a full, they'll have a smoking ceremony, all that sort of stuff there. So it's going to be a really good occasion. And I'm just blessed, and I was overwhelmed that Julie offered for me to come up there for the weekend. So I can't wait to get up there. Never been to that rink before, but it should be an awesome time for the Lightning and also for the Indigenous community.
Doogie, if you also cover the Brave as well, they also have tonight released their design, their own Aboriginal design. It's the first time they've had an Aboriginal design jersey before. So great initiative from the Lightning, and glad the Brave are getting on board as well.
I heard too. I had a chat with Kerry Goulet about the Tour of Hope, and he mentioned that he especially mentioned the Brisbane Lightning and said that they've got an activity that they've planned as well for the Northern Ice, the Indigenous team that's touring Australia and New Zealand, and they went to extra effort to set something up on July the 12th, I think, before they play on the 13th or around that time. So really just class organization, really cool to see that as well.
Yeah, and on that as well, it was great to see the Melbourne Ice participate in the Tour of Hope last week, I think it was, on Thursday. I think they've now moved on into New Zealand now, but yeah, great to see the AI essentially evolved through Goulet.
Just some advice for you, Doogie. Brisbane rink is the coldest in Australia. Take 5 jackets and your thermal undies. Yes. Great looking jersey from Corey Coutina. Says G. Yes, NAIDOC week is coming up. So that'll be special. Nathan Graham, congrats to Doogie for surviving 2 catch-ups with me in 3 weeks. Incredible test of character. No games in Melbourne, and the guy who staffs the car park in the Docklands won't know what to do with himself as people aren't taking 2 hours to get out. That's from Anthony Russell. You feel our pain. Tori Diver going to Adelaide for the first time ever this weekend. And Michael Smith as well.
This is great. More away days, guys.
Yeah.
On AI
I think
fans,
really
I want
cool.
everyone to send all their photos from their away days on the thing. And it's been great seeing the photographers taking quite a lot of traveling fan photos this year. So shout
Yeah.
out to all our photographers around the league.
Yeah. And just a mention, Tori. Tori went to Canberra, but you're in Sydney, Sean.
I was in Sydney. It's like the one time I'm not in Canberra to watch a game, and I was in Sydney to watch a game instead. But yeah, sorry, Tori. Next year.
Final
I don't know.
thought. Oh,
I don't
sorry.
know if Nathan's still in the chat there. I actually did recommend an Italian sandwich deli for him to go to while he's in Melbourne because he had a big Saturday night, I believe. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he did that on the Monday or not.
Yeah, he gave me a call on Sunday morning, and he was sounding pretty dusty. It was like 11 o'clock, and he sounded like he'd done some things. Michael Smith, Brisbane is very chilly. The hospitality from the people there is as warm as the stereotypical Queensland weather, though. Michael Smith just coming in with the comments.
Yeah, speaking of hospitality, I just want to do another big shout out to the Ice Dogs hospitality. They put me up on the Saturday in their VIP section. Everyone there works phenomenal. They do such a good job. They are so welcoming to everyone. It creates a really good atmosphere. So yeah, big shout out to all the volunteers and everyone that works for that organization.
And Nathan Graham didn't make it to the sandwich shop, mate, but next trip. And Corey Katina is going to need that recommendation for when I'm over there for finals. We can all go there, mate. We should all. We should do a meetup. We should all do a meetup.
Yeah,
and yes,
and we should also produce an official Hockey Hype Australia a recommendation list for each city of which restaurants, bars, whatever to go to.
Well, that is a good idea because if people are aware of our Backchecks Beers and Banter podcast, GG's the chef, so he'll be all over that recommendations.
Yeah, we've got the curry menu, don't we? The curry.
Yeah.
Yep. Butter chicken. Hugh Whittle has a recommendation. For those coming to Adelaide, Osteria Oggi is the GOAT Italian restaurant and is run by former Adrenaline player Nicola Powell.
Oh, there you go.
That is pretty good.
Awesome.
Here's a dad joke. A get together at a deli is surely a meet up from Anthony Russell. Thanks, mate. I do appreciate those. Italian is my fave from Tori. You've not made it too far north so far this season. I don't know who that is in reference to. I'll be there Wednesday before to Thursday after. Yeah, let's definitely do something. Going to Brisbane, looking forward to road trip. Went last year. Brisbane rink is so welcoming. Yes, definitely. Recommend beef Wellington in Gippsland. And thanks, you. We'll see you there. Final thoughts, peeps.
Enjoy the weekend. It should be another cracking weekend of hockey. The matchups are intra-conference matchups and all sorts of stuff happening. So it's going to be all on, and I'm looking forward to flying up to Brisbane and catching up with heaps of people up there.
Yeah, safe travels for that, Doogie. Hopefully you have a good time.
Yep. And from you, Sean, words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom this week. Everyone just get on and, let's not slam the North Stars fans for voting North Stars players, please, this week. I guess okay.
No. That's their right. But thanks so much for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for participating. It's been yep, Hugh Whittle just with the street cred redux, street cred check redux. And Willie Krauser, thanks again for the show team and all the hard work going into this. Thank you for your work and all of your photos as well. Brett Parker, thanks guys. Cheers guys. So thank you very much for watching.
And Willie's daughter too with the photos as well, GG.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a family event, so really good photography. All our photographers do such a good job. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thanks to you for participating. It's been great having your company this evening. We are Hockey Night in Australia, part of the Hockey Hype Australia podcast network. You can find us on iHeartRadio, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify as well. You can watch a replay on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Keep Doogie letting us know how much those figures increase. Like and subscribe, or do whatever you want. You're your own person. You can make decisions. But thank you very much for your support, and we'll see you next week. And enjoy the hockey.
See you
See ya.
guys.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.